Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to my channel. My name is SimsPhie and we're back with another video. So if you're a Sims 4 fan, or if you've really played any Sims game, you are definitely familiar with the wild amount of DLC that has been released with The Sims. And so for The Sims 4, as you probably know, we have $40 expansion packs, the $20 game pack, the $10 stuff packs, and now kits, which are, I believe, $4.99. Of course, from time to time, because we have all of these packs and they tend to vary a lot in the type of content that they include, there are packs that maybe aren't as up your alley, as others. Insert Sims 4 Journey to Batu here. Anyways, so I thought I would talk a little bit about some packs that I originally thought that I'd hate when either the trailer dropped or when they were announced, because they just seemed like really annoying and not my cup of tea, or possibly actually terrible. In reality, when I've actually went and played with them, I really loved them. I'm going to talk about 3 packs for this video: Mosquito Stuff, Strangerville, and Vampires. So I'm going to start off with Mosquito Stuff. If you remember this pack, it was especially controversial. So they made this announcement first at EA Play, where they had, I think, introduced island living and mermaids, which is something that the community had been like begging for honestly years. And so everyone was really excited about it. They also announced this like Pride-based free update with like Joey Graceffa, where they were gonna release all this like fun rainbow merch in the game for free. People were cheering and clapping, and it was like a whole thing. And then we got to Mosquito Stuff, and the silence in the room, let me tell you, if you did not watch this live stream, it was actually possibly the funniest thing I've seen at one of these types of events. And so there was this, I think, like one girl in the front who was just like, it was so sad. It was just like silence for Mosquito Stuff. It doubled down even more when they released this trailer that had all these like real life people in like fancy brand name clothes, and Mosquito's like this insanely expensive brand that like most Sims players probably have never heard of, certainly don't shop at. And so obviously after watching the trailer and also hearing this announcement, I was like, why would I want this like brand fashion in my game? It doesn't make any sense. But I must say, after playing with this pack now for, I don't know how long it's been out, I actually have to say that I really love this pack, and it really surprised me when I actually got my hands on it. First of all, it's a stuff pack, which, the $10 stuff packs usually have less expectations about what's going to be in them. But this stuff pack, let me tell you, is full of content. And so it came with first all this amazing built-in buy stuff, giant industrial windows that are perfect for making like a city high-rise or loft. And if you're someone who plays with city living, like me a lot, it was just perfect for building in a town like that. And then, I gotta say, the gameplay that came with Mosquito Stuff completely changed the face of the game for me. Mosquito Stuff essentially totally reworked the system of photography in the game. I'm a person who plays a lot with family gameplay. If you've seen my current household, you might have noticed that I love playing through several generations. That's kind of like my favorite thing to do. And one of the things I love to do in game is take lots and lots of photos of my Sims as they grow up and kind of hang them all over the houses they live in. So that was always very difficult before Mosquito Stuff, because it was a whole, thing to take photos in game, and especially to get your Sims to kind of stand the way that you wanted. Or now with Mosquito Stuff, we got all this amazing photography stuff. So for one, we got that stand that allows you to basically like send Sims to that particular location to take a photo, which is awesome. It also ups the quality of your photos, so you no longer get the weird gnomes that you get when you're building the photography skill. So if you're actually trying to take a nice family photo, it actually comes out always quite nice. And it came with all of these amazing poses. So if you wanted your Sims to just take a photo together in game without having to, go into Pose Player, upload like actual CC poses, we actually now had a bunch of preset poses that you can use in game when you're taking photos. And I absolutely love Mosquito Stuff. So don't get me wrong, I was shocked that I enjoyed it so much. But then the cast isn't really for me personally. However, I am someone who loves to play with Get Famous, and I have to say, if you're trying to make kind of like an suave, annoying celebrity influencer type, the stuff that comes with Mosquito Stuff fits like right into that. Played through a generation that was one of the, like my main sim was a celebrity, and so the stuff from Mosquito Stuff worked really well because they were like celebrity rich fancy sims where having stuff like the kind of Mosquito style clothes worked quite well. If you enjoy that type of gameplay, it does actually work quite well for that. So those are my thoughts on Mosquito Stuff. And then the second pack I thought that I would hate, but I actually really enjoyed was Strangerville. So Strangerville was the first pack that we got that was actual like play through pack. So it's not quite the like sandbox gameplay that we usually have with The Sims, but it was a game with an actual story that you had to follow. I really enjoy the sandbox aspect of the games. I do play a lot of other games that are more story-based, like Life is Strange, which I've played through and enjoyed quite a bit. But for Strangerville, I was feeling kind of apprehensive because I wasn't sure, how the story would be, if I would even enjoy that kind of gameplay in The Sims. But when it came, I actually really did enjoy it. I would say the one downside of this pack is the replayability, because once you know the story, obviously you've played through it, it's not the most replayable story. However, I ended up really liking the story a lot. I thought it was so much fun. You get to interact with all these cute little characters, and then the world is super cute. I really, really like the world. I do wish that we could live there kind of without the story if you want, because anytime you start a new game, it's like reverted to like the weird, people who are aliened or whatever you want to call it. But I'll try not to give away too many spoilers if you haven't played through Strangerville. But I really liked the world. It's like kind of Wild West inspired, very desert looking, and kind of gives off like Winona Earp energy. The cast is very specific, but also very well done. So, I mean, I was definitely surprised. I thought that I would really not like Strangerville, and I actually ended up enjoying it quite a bit. Not to the level of Mosquito Stuff. Mosquito Stuff kind of like catapulted to one of my favorite packs. Strangerville, I wouldn't say is way up there for me, but I really ended up liking it in a way that I thought that I would not. So the last pack that I'm going to talk about for this video is Vampires. So Vampires, I know some people were very excited about this, but when it was announced, I'm not really an occult game player. If you've seen any of my gameplay, that's like not really my go-to. I do enjoy witches, so I do play a lot with spellcasters, but I'm not big on any other kind of occult gameplay. I don't really play too much with vampires, but I have to say it's one of the best done occults we've received, I think, in the Sims franchise as a whole. There's a lot of intricacies to them. I love that when you take on like a new level, you also have to take on a weakness. I think that that's super cool. The whole way they mapped out the vampire skill is just really intricate and really deep, and there's a lot there in terms of gameplay. Since I'm not a super big occult player, what really surprised me about vampires, I actually didn't purchase vampires for a long time because I was like, well, I'm never gonna play with them. But what eventually kind of won me over with vampires was the build and buy. So the build and buy stuff is surprisingly usable across really any type of gameplay. They have all this nice Victorian kitchen stuff that actually works quite well to build most normal family homes. Like the countertops and cabinets set from vampires I use in several of my houses. I use it a lot. The vampires are really well done, don't get me wrong, but as a person who doesn't play with the cults that much, especially not vampires, the build and buy is honestly almost worth the $20 on its own. There's just so much there. First of all, it came with a ton of build and buy stuff, and then also it's build and buy stuff that is so useful. Want to make a cemetery, it comes with all those coffins. You don't necessarily have to use the coffins for the vampires, but you can, if you want to build a cemetery or a graveyard, which I have a graveyard for my multi-generational Sims, if you want to create that type of a build, the stuff from vampires works seamlessly for that. So vampires actually ended up being a pack I really use a lot and enjoy a lot, even though it seemed like one that I would absolutely hate. Let me know if you'd be interested in me doing a packs I thought I'd love but I actually hate. I was thinking maybe that would be fun, so I'm thinking I might do that. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to do that thing. With that, I hope you have a magical, marvelous day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!